maybe I'll draw it bigger over here. How about this? I'm going to draw it straight up and down, bigger over here, and then we'll use this for placement. Okay? So most of it is going to be medium. Okay? And this distance here, we're going to do 4.5. And this distance here, the higher one, we're going to do 5. And then this bottom part, we'll call this the cuff opening, or the cuff seam. And then at some point, the gauntlet stops being sewn and starts becoming an opening. And that opening goes straight down, straight down, straight down, all the way into the cuff. So here's the rest of the cuff. Okay, so that opening, that bold line would extend all the way down. Okay, so how could I figure out where that would be? Measure, right? How big is that opening? So we actually need 3 length measurements, one for the lower part of the peak, one for the top of the peak, and one for how far it opens up. So it's only opening up about 3 inches. Okay, so from here to here, it's hard to read black when I'm drawing over black lines. So the opening is 3 inches. Okay, so this placket is going to be sort of parallel to the top edge of the sleeve, so we don't want it tipping one way or the other. It's going to be kind of parallel. It's going to be sewn along these edges and then open into the cuff. Okay. Do you see any details on that gauntlet from where you guys are? Some of you are super far back, if you can.
The top stitching to the top.
Yeah, what kind of top stitching? A special
Edge
kind.
stitching.
So there's edge stitching around. All of the sewn edges have edge stitches. There's no edge stitch at the opening edge. That's just a fold, okay? But then the reinforcement top stitching right across, it's right at the top of where the opening is, and that's kind of keeping the structure of this together. So if I were to do my stitching in here, I would do edge all around the sewn edges. And then right across the top, where the opening ends, you're going to have 2 rows of top stitching. Is that looking kind of familiar? It's pretty much a basic gauntlet that you would see on a lot of different things. Okay? Any questions on the top part of this? So we would have our stitches over here. And it's 2 rows of top stitching and then 1 row of edge stitching all the way around. Okay, what else are we seeing?
The button.
The button. Okay, so where's the button in relationship to what we already know? So it's in the middle of the cuff. It's really close to the cuff opening. Okay, what direction is that buttonhole? Horizontal. It's parallel to the bottom of the cuff. Why? Flexibility. My hand was able to go through there. Okay. So if I put this in, whatever pen you decided to use for your circle here, you'll use the same pen over here. So maybe my button goes centered here, and my buttonhole is sticking out that way, parallel to the cuff. And I'll put my little dots in there. Okay. What else do you see on the cuff? More stitch. More stitches. Okay. So the stitches. How many rows? You're close. How many rows do you see? 2. So the stitches are wrapping around. Think of this cuff as a big rectangle. If I open it up, the stitches are going around the bottom edge, up the side, and then across the top edge of the cuff. So think of it as a big rectangle. When it's overlapping, you're going to see the stitches going around like this, and then coming back and sort of ending because it's getting underlapped. You seeing that? So they wrap around the edge here, and then it's just here and here. There won't be any stitches right here because that's a wraparound, it's a fold, okay? So one is an edge stitch. It's gonna be right near the edge. And then the top stitch over here is about 1/4 of an inch away, and it wraps around. You seeing that? Mm-hmm. What would the stitching look like over here? Yeah, just lines. Yeah. So 2 rows of stitching, 2 rows of stitching, and we don't need any here and here. Okay? Can you visualize what will happen on the back view?
The opposite.
The opposite. So it'll be just regular stitching here. And this information would be on the extended one. Yeah? So I'm not going to demonstrate the back. You guys are going to do the back on your own. How would we go about doing the back? So your homework is to do the back. Okay? Unless you can manage to, some of you guys are really fast. Some of you might be able to finish today and not have homework. Okay? So what would we trace? Or I guess